Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to Open Television.
Thank you very much.
You'll
You are
be
welcome.
Thank you. You'll be in the first, the former photographer of Ghanaba. Can you please share with us your experience and who is Ghanaba?
Who is Ghanaba? Well, Ghanaba was one of Africa's most talented drummers. There is no equal, or there was no equal on Ghanaba as far as drumming was concerned. But he was born in Ghana, Accra, to the Akwe family. The Akwe family came from Pram in the Greater Accra region, and they settled at Gamashin, that is Sempe. That was where Ghanaba's parentage comes from. His father was Richard Mamboy Akwe, an educationist of the highest order. He formed a school, he got a school called Akwe Memorial School at Accra, Timber Market area there. The school is still existing. It was an old school. Being an educationist, he taught his children, respect and everything. And he wanted his sons and daughters to go to the highest school in the era, Achimota College. So he sent his children there. But Ghanaba, a very, very good student, ran away from the school, because he wanted to be an American. So he was always dancing on the streets of Accra to the admiration of the foreigners who were coming. And luckily for them, they have Jamestown close to them, which is at the beach. And that was a natural beach for everybody in Accra. So Jamestown became a very, very good place because it was having a natural harbor. And everybody was coming through this thing. So Jamestown became a very special place in Accra's history. Well, Ghana's education took him to Achimota, and he wanted to be a musician. So he had the help from the American embassy. Something that Americans do when you're a musician, they use you as a politician. You see, they will take you, go and visit Ghana, but they know what they will get from Ghana. So many Americans have been here. Louis Armstrong, a whole lot. All they were all sent by the American embassy, State Department, what they call State Department. Because the blacks were musicians, they used to do these things for them so that they get some information from Ghana and all that, outright and all that. Even there was a time they used Muhammad Ali to come and campaign for the Olympic Games in Russia. But the African governments all took away Muhammad Ali, brought him down. He has to go back to his seat. So this has been going on. And Ghanaba was a very clever student. So the Americans decided to use him as a spy. In the Second World War, the American soldiers were here, the British soldiers were here, and all that. So they sent Ghanaba to America to learn about espionage and everything, and to report their people here in Ghana to them direct. For example, you are the Americans and the British. You are here, and they have asked me to take care of you, who is, somebody doing something.
Yes, does it mean they are trying to use him against us?
Yes, they are using him against us, and that's American policy. They are doing it now, and every day they will do it. You see. So they sent Ghana back to America. While in America, he discovered that the people were playing jazz. So he was also the greatest drummer here at that time. He was a member of the tourist this thing, but that they were playing for the Americans and all that. And they called themselves this thing. What's the name? What's the name? I will just call you the name. So he was playing the band with his nephew, this thing, cousins also, Joe Kelly. So they formed the Temples Band, which became E.T. Mesa and the Temples Band. Ghanaba and his brother formed the group. Iti Mesa came to join the band later. Around that time, the late Iti Mesa, king of highlights, he came to join the band later. Around that time in the 50s, Ghanaba was solely on jazz. So he left the group and went to Liberia. While there, he was having his own group, you know. So they played at the inauguration of President uh, Thomas. Among the crowd was the president of Ghana, Prime Minister Nkrumah. He knew Ghana already here before he saw him there. Like I was telling you, his father was an educationist, so everybody knew him all around. So Nkrumah was very, very happy that a son of his is now playing in this thing for the inauguration. So after that, he gave him a very good note, praising Ghanaba for representing, African cause. After the note is still around, we can give to you here. That written purposely by Nkrumah to Ghanaba. So in the course of the dreams, Ghanaba decided that he has to live in America because he had studied hard about music and everything, and he knew that the music the black Americans were playing and calling it jazz was a thing from Africa that they have gone to play there, and they even couldn't understand it so well, so they couldn't get African instruments to play the music. So they used the white man's saxophones and all that and all that. Because of that, the music changed. It wasn't no more American this thing, but you were hearing African things around in it. So Ganaba projected this course in America, telling the Americans that you are playing jazz, and the jazz came from Africa when you were taken as slaves to America in the Caribbean. Now you are forgetting all about that music because your parents have all died and you couldn't get. But I'm coming from Africa, and I'm coming to tell you that this is the way to play our music. That time they didn't play African music. Never. They didn't. The next thing that they did was to play Cuban music. But Cuban music was African music, you know. So bit by bit, they kept going. And there was a Cuban there called Shana Pozo. He was playing jazz in America with Duke Ellington, the big shots and all that. Because he was coming from Cuba, which was close to America, they took him up. And then about defended himself by saying, look here, this man you are taking was a slave brought to Cuba from Africa. So he can't remember the African regions properly. I am an African. So what I'm doing is the most purest thing ever. They didn't believe him, but he went on to get people to record his music with and all that and all that. One day, one of the best drummers in America called Max Roach came to Ghana somewhere in 1974 to meet Ghanaba and to take Ghanaba back to America. There he told Ghanaba that, look here, while you were in America, our manager said we shouldn't talk to you because you are too much hip. When we say you are hip, it means you don't give a damn about nobody, you know. So they were fearing him. They didn't want to discuss his music because they knew that what he was doing was different from them. He kept playing, and he got engagement at African Room in New York City. So there and his combo, they were known as Guy Warren Sounds, playing African music. These people, Americans, were coming there with tape recorders in their ears and everything, and they were saving the sounds that he was doing. Because they couldn't play it, and they wanted to play it, and they didn't want him to teach them. They said the thing belongs to them.
So, briefly, how do you connect to Ghanaba as a photographer?
As a photographer, well, I got to know Ghanaba when we were all growing up in the 50s, because like I tell you, he was a big man, always broadcasting on air, radio, that it was called Radio ZOY from the British.
He was a journalist.
Ghanaba was a journalist, a broadcaster, a musician, everything. And the journalism aspect of him helped him a lot because he didn't have a manager. Like you see, Fela Kuti and all, they all have managers and all. Ghanaba didn't have a manager because most people didn't like his music. It was too much for the white people, so they didn't like it, But he knew what he was doing.
Okay, so you grew up with Ghanaba in the same area?
I didn't grow up with Ghanaba. Ghanaba was my father. But I mean, in that era, he was there. We were also kids watching watching him act and all that because he was loudmouth, you know. We call it Kalambani. He didn't give a damn about anybody with his music. Already, he knew people didn't like him because they said his father was great. He couldn't go to school. He ran away from school to go to America. So the parents were thinking that, oh, this man playing music, he's going to be a shallow man. He's going to smoke weed and all that and all that. So they didn't care about him.
So,
So yeah,
how do you? I just wanted to know how you were connected to Ghanaba as his photographer.
as a photographer, okay, I was working at the American Embassy as a refrigeration mechanic, air conditioning, washing machine, and clothes dryer as a mechanic. You know, that was in 1985. So the Americans were here then. Rawlings was in power, and they were trying to take the power away from Rawlings with throwing of bombs and all these things around that time. I think you are aware of that. Yeah. And I was working at the American Embassy, and I was chairman of this thing, the P, this thing, the what do you call it, CDR or something something. Yeah. I was a chairman in my area, so I was a Rawlings man. So I was working at the American Embassy, and I saw how they were trying to destabilize the country, bringing people to throw bombs and all that, doing everything to take power from Rawlings because they say he was a military man. It shouldn't be so. So there was a woman working at the embassy called Sharon Scranage. Sharon Scranage was a political, listen, he was the advisor to the political big man here of the CIA and secretary. So she knew everything. Now, this girl fell in love with Rawlings' cousin called Michael Susudis. I don't know whether you've heard the name before. Michael Susudis was a spy.
But Michael was Ronnie's cousin.
They were cousins. Yeah. And when Rawlings was the leader of the country, his brother was also a spy, trying to spy things out for him.
Which is Michael.
It is Michael. So he came into contact with this girl from America called Sharon Scranage, who was a CIA man, you see. So they were in love. Several times I saw them riding Sharon Scranage's car to do this. And I knew, Dankwa Circle, the tall building that they have built there, belonging to Shida. Yeah. It was then a four compound house where the American CIA were living. You see, I know there because I work there. I work in their rooms and everything. And Michael Suzudis was coming there. So the Americans thought they had a guy the lady can get information from Rawlings in the Ghana, this thing. But rather the girl was giving information from America to Ghana. So every move they made to come and destabilize the country, they were caught. From Ivory Coast, they were caught. They were coming from Togo, they were caught. They went to race car, three bombs and everything that right, they were caught. And America didn't understand it. How is it that our plans are being caught all the time? So they suspected this girl called Sharon Scranage. They sent him to America. They sent her to America as being on leave. When she got to America, they told her, hey, look here, you have been selling our secrets to Ghana all the time. That's why we were always being caught when we were coming to destabilize the country. So they stayed the girl there. They asked the girl to come to do this to America on holiday. Initially what they do is we sit down like this, they give you the telephone, call him, say you want to pay everything for him to come.
So, you are on a way of how you were connected to Ghanaba.
Yeah. So they got them up and they were trying to Sharon Scranage, the American woman, reported the people who are in Ghanaians and are working against the government. He called all the names to the boyfriend, Suzulis. So Suzulis also took it to his brother, Rawlings, and the people were all arrested. They were taken to court and they were about to be jailed when they decided to have an agreement with the American government that, okay, these Ghanaians you have caught, give them to us. We shall take them to America so that we'll give you Suzulis, your brother. That time Suzulis had been caught in America. You see, so they made a bargain of it. Bring the 9 or so people you have caught here as Ghanaians, give it to us. We are taking it to the Americans. Then Sujudis was brought in as an exchange. So this thing was going on all the time. Then later on, the American embassy tried to sack me because they got to know that I was the one behind it. Actually, I took the people on a demonstration on the streets of Accra, and it was reported in the front pages of the graphic. World News. How can workers of the American embassy stage demonstration against the U.S. government? That time they had gone to.
You are the one who staged that demonstration.
I took them on the demonstration.
Okay, you took them.
Yeah, on the streets of Accra. Then I went to the press office graphic.
But were you the master planner?
I was a master planner. I was a master planner. So I took them. I went to the editor of the graphic, told him about what was coming to happen. So they stationed their reporters around places. That time the foreign affairs was at Tema station, the one that got burnt. So they went, did everything that right, and they arrested all the Ghanaians who were involved in it. So when the backing came back, then America in this thing that nothing was going to happen again. Meanwhile, I was fished out as a man who did the exhibition of taking the boys out, and I was sacked from the embassy. So when I was sacked, they gave me some small money. Then my brother added some to it, and I bought a camera. You see, first of all, when I was at the American embassy, that was where I became everything vividly with photography because they have the newspapers, Newsweek, Time magazine, all the papers around there. So I used to go there to read the papers, and then I wanted to be a journalist. I love it. I wanted to be either a journalist or a mechanic. So when I got to the American embassy, I studied all the pictures coming out from the magazines. And even some of the workers who were working in the American embassy, they taught me the photography, attract and everything. So when I was expelled from the embassy, I told you I bought a camera from them. I decided to go freelance as a photographer. By then I had known a little bit of photography. That was somewhere in 1985. Then I had a letter from Ghanaba, 2 letters, one from me, one from my brother. Ghanaba wanted to see us because he said every time he played music, some 2 boys will stay behind and pack his drums, but he never saw them to talk to them outright and all. So he sent one of his boys. I was then a pen pal to him, so he had my address. So he wrote me to go to Osu Ringway. There was a man there called Amin Tefa. He's now called Aminyam. He was a principal to Ghanaba. He said the 2 of us should go and meet him there so that he will arrange to take us to him at his village at midday. So we got a letter, went to him. He arranged with the old man. Then we were taken to the old man. We were seeing him at his home for the first time. But every time he played music, we went and took his drums away, packed it out for him to go home. So when we went there, the discussion was that, oh, you these 2 guys, I always see you at my shows, even you take my drums, pack them outright, but we never talked. I just want to know more about you. So I showed myself up. My brother showed himself up. And luckily, my brother was then a musician, playing African drums and all that. Those latter you see in the room there. Yeah, playing them outright with his group. So in the talking, I was having a picture of the group, and Ghanaba saw the picture. So are you musicians? My brother said, yeah, we are musicians. Then he took a look, all this thing, looked at the picture all right. Then he was asking questions. Why don't you put Western instruments in your group and all that? And my brother was sharp to tell him that, oh, Dada, because of what you have been preaching about African music, I don't want to put saxophones and everything. I want to put bekete and all these things around that. Not knowing Ghanaba was taking points from all that. So when he saw that my brother was a musician, he said, where do you train? He said, at Tefe, African Pavilion. He said, oh, you have online? Okay. Then he said, all right. We showed him the time we were playing and all that. Me, I don't play. I was taking them photographs. So one day the boys were playing at the African pavilion at the trade fair. And then some small boys came up and said, look, there's an old man standing somewhere. When you are playing the music, he will come and peep, and then he will go. He said, why? He said, oh, he's behind there. He said, their description tallied Ghanaba. Then when we look far off, we saw this thing. It's a vehicle there, the Land Rover. You say, the man is here. So the boy started the music, with more vigor. After some time, Ghanaba came out and stopped at where they were sitting. Then he sat down, listening to the sound. Not knowing he had been listening for the past 1 hour, unknown to the people. You see. So then he was satisfied with what they were doing. So at the small party there, he said, okay, uh, I'm happy to see you. Because I've seen you, next 2 weeks, I'm going to organize this musical concert at Accra. That is this place. Not the art center.
National Theatre.
No, the National Theatre. They have a small one by the Nkrumah Park. We call it community center. Community center. He said, I'm going to organize the music there. So I want you to be my backup group. So I've listened to all your songs. This, I want you to play. When you play, before I will come on stage. So everything worked out fine. The day came, they went to the art center and they started the series Free South Africa.
But briefly, he sent a letter to you guys, and the connection started from there, right? I mean, your photography to him.
Yeah.
It's through the letter that he wrote.
No, we were pen pals long before he called us there. So by being there, we saw him for the first time in this house, with the kids then growing up, So then he wanted to know about us, and he got to know that we were musicians and need a photographer. So he loved it very much. So when we visited him, he didn't know I was a photographer, but I was carrying a small camera in my visit. After meeting him in the house a week, he called us 2 weeks back later, saying he was having a party with his brother-in-law at Nsawam. So he wants us to be there. So while at the party, I took some shots. When we came back, after a month's time, he said, "Oh, me, last time I think you were having a camera and taking some at our party, but I haven't seen a single shot of it." I said, "Oh, I'll bring the copies." When I took it, I didn't give it to him. I just kept the pictures. So when I sent the pictures there, that was when he studied all the pictures, and he said, "Are you a photographer?" I said, "Yes, I'm a photographer." He said, "Oh, fine. All my lifetime, I want a photographer to be on site. So because I don't get photographers, I have to go to Ghanaian Times or Graphics to get a photographer there to take my shots and outright. So once you are my fan, I would like you to be taking photographs." And I'm telling you, that time I wasn't an expert. I was just learning the things, but I have the books off from the American Embassy, and I was just learning art and all that.
Sure.
So when he said that, I said, "Oh, yes, sir, I would like to do that." Then I got more interested. So I will tell you, Ghanaba was the first man I started my project with as a photographer. And the last man too, So when we came, he said, "Oh, your pictures are nice." So every day, everywhere they will go, I will take photographs and then make copies for him and attract and all that. So he grew much interest in me because he loves those things. As you are seeing now, there were photographs he took years back that he kept that are not being opened here. So he loved what I was doing, giving them photographic equipment. So he said, "Here, look here, you are going to be my official photographer." I said, "Really? I like it." I was so happy. I told friends, "Look, Ghanaba says I have to be his official photographer." So every day I was very, very happy. You can't be with Ghanaba. Even if you are president, you can't be with Ghanaba. He doesn't like what you are doing, and you won't like it, and it will make you unhappy. You see, so when he sees somebody that he loves, he likes to go on with him. So everywhere they went, we took pictures and all that and all that. There was a time we went to all the universities in Ghana, Legon, USC, Kumasi. Then we went to the Tech. Then we came to University of Cape Coast. We were playing with the university schools in Ghana. So most people got to know me. Oh, as a photographer for Ghana. Once we went to Legon, and there was a big crowd in the Legon room then. He came to talk. Before he praised me, he liked to come and talk to the people. So he was talking to the people and he said, "You see this man standing there, that is me." He said, "You see that he's in rags. One day when I die, he's going to be rich." So the people start laughing. He said, "Dada, why should you have to die before he becomes rich?" He said, "Yeah, what he's doing now, he can't be rich unless I'm dead. This is my official photographer. He is capturing my life that you will come to see one day. So he will pay for that. He will sell it to you. You will become a rich man." So I had so many friends from all those places who came to help me in future. When I go somewhere, say, "Oh, I was at Tech when you came there with Ghanaba. Are you not the photographer? Oh, come and do this for us. Come and do this for us."
The connection started from there.
At Tukokai, all the people he knew as big men, they all wanted me by because they knew nobody works with Ghanaba. You see, how can you work with Ghanaba? Then one day we went somewhere and we were filling forms. So I filled my form. When I filled, he was born on 4th May, Ghanaba, 1923. I didn't tell him I was born on 4th May too.
Oh, wow.
I didn't tell him, but I knew he was born on 4th May. And I was saying, if this man gets to know I was born on 4th May, he will go crazy. So one day we were filling forms, and I filled my form 4th May, 1948. He said, "Oh, you made a mistake. You go and write my 4th May." I said, "No, sir, I was born on 4th May." He said, "You were born on 4th May? I see. That is why I give you so much respect. Because I keep asking, why is it that I keep this man so gentle with me, but I blast other people?"
So, with, with all this, did you travel outside with Ghanaba?
No, I didn't travel outside with Ghanaba because he went outside many times, but the sponsors didn't make room for other people to. Even he didn't go with his group. He always went alone because he has these instruments which are so big for the playing and all that and all that. Because he alone plays the music.
He travel alone without
his group.
no, I mean, without his personal photographer.
Without his personal photographer. When he's going outside, he didn't get phones. People have to invite him, and they didn't put his photographer in it. They just tell him, "Oh, we have somebody here, so we have to cut down the cost." But everything he was doing in Ghana, I was doing that with him.
So what do you remember Ghanaba with?
Oh, I remember Ghanaba for giving me the permission to show my skills to the world. Because he was a big man, my photographs have gone worldwide, and everywhere pictures even I didn't take of him. People think say I was the one who took the picture. So I'm very, very proud of that that mark that he has left for me.
So where from the name Ghanaba?
The name Ghanaba, first time he was called Gamaliel Akwe. You see, Gamaliel was the president of America way back.
Yes.
So when he was born, the father.
But that was his real name.
It wasn't his real name. The father gave him the name, Gamaliel.
So what I want his real name. His real name of Ghanaba.
His real name was Papo Alote. Papo Alote. He came from Gamashin, Simpe area, Papo Alote. But his name was Guy Warren because, like I was telling you, when he was born, there was a president in America at that time called Gamaliel Warren. And Gamaliel, the short form of Gamaliel is Guy. So instead of writing Gamaliel Warren Akwe, he wrote Guy Warren Akwe. And that time, he wanted to be an American, not a Ghanaian. Because he was too fast and, he was speaking American more than the Americans.
Wow.
And I told him he was a musician. And he told me he wanted to be an American. So when he saw other people, "Oh, yeah, man, come on, fuck shit," and all that. And he was noted for that. He was a brilliant student too. You see, he was noted for that.
So the name Ghanaba.
So the name Ghanaba, it came up phases. When he went to America, he was using the name Guy Warren. He dropped the African name, this thing, was using Guy Warren. So in America, he was playing the music And they knew that he was the biggest highlight star in Ghana before he came to America. So he was teaching them how to play. Most Americans didn't believe he was a Ghanaian or African. They said, no, 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 you are telling us lies.
Because of his accent.
Because of his accent, you are telling us lies that you are not you are not American. You lie, you are an American. So he said, no, I don't want to be confused with these people. So I will add Guy Warren of Ghana. You see, so he changed, he named Guy Warren, he added Guy Warren of Ghana. For the Americans to know that this guy is not American, but comes from Africa. So in the course of it, when he left America, after thinking he had sowed the seed of jazz, African jazz to the Americans, he got tired of the people and came to play in Ghana back here. So somewhere in 1974, he decided to change his name. That Gawarin of Ghana. They are still thinking that this thing, blah, blah, blah. So from Gawarin, he made it Gawarin of Ghana. Then he still thought that people doesn't think he's an African. So he has to change his name to something. So after sitting down for some time, he said, "Oh, let me change my name to Ghanaba." Ghanaba means son of Ghana. So anybody at all can be called Ghanaba. He said first he wanted the name to be Ghanaba Kwame after Nkrumah. But he said, oh, Nkrumah was born in Ghana. And Ghana is bigger than that. So I will call myself Ghanaba, son of or born of Ghana. So that's how he got the name that he's saying now. So the name also goes with his music as an African musician. He stopped wearing suit and all that. And was only wearing, I don't know whether you knew him before. He wore his yellow robes, talewote, and his cap. And you won't believe it. He took the same dressing to Europe, walking in the this thing, snow and all that. Are you not cold? And all that. So he emphasized his Africanness here. You see, and then the name started going.
So you are Ni.
I am
Ni.
Ni Yamununu. Ni Yamununu.
Wow.
From La. Accra. You know Labadi, the place they call Labadi. Yeah, that's where I come from.
So, knowing Ghanaba, you work with Ghanaba.
Yeah.
What are the? I didn't hear what you can use to remember him.
What I can remember him with? Oh, so many things. I can remember him when he plays and you watch him. He was a possessed man. He looked different when he's playing the drums. And when he gets out of the drums, as if he was possessed, because the drums, if you hear the language of the drums, he was always calling, powerful things, ancestors and all that and all that. So every time he played the drums, he got possessed, So he didn't want to play the Western jazz drums. Every time he touched the Western, it broke all the surface because he was too strong on it. So he started playing the African thing. He said, oh, I don't have to play. Now I have to. So he invented his own drumming of the African jazz that he has left to the world. So when the white man did the jazz drums, this is what he also came to do for the African jazz. 7-piece drums, and he alone plays all the drums. And the intensity with which he plays the drums, you will like it.
So are you still in photography?
Sure. Until I can't hold the camera anymore. I'm still in photography.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. And you were talking about some things that I have to remember Ghanaba. I have to tell you, there were some things Ghanaba did that we didn't think he would do it. For example, on the 10th anniversary of the June 4th Revolution, Rawlings Revolution, Ghanaba came and called me and two of the daughters, the driver and the leader of his group. We went to Independence Arch. Midnight, 11 something. When we got there, he had the Ghana flag, big one. Then his two girls opened it out right there. Then he had a gunman. His driver was a gunman. He had the driver to shoot 3 times into the air. It was then 12 midnight, June 4th, 1989. That was Rawlings' 10th anniversary day. Ghanaba went and joked with Rawlings. He went there at 12 o'clock. He had the driver to signal the gun 3 times. So he went bang, 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 3 times. And you know, the Independence Arch is close to the president's office, the castle. So all the sound went to the castle. So according to the security, when they heard the guns, they knew, hey, somebody was trying to destabilize the country on June 4th day. So Rawlings, come on, pitch out. When Ghanaba did the shooting, you know what he told us? He said, you look, they will come from the castle looking for who's shooting the guns. So he was standing there and they will whack, boo, 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 boo. And they saw some people standing there. So they came there like that, rounding off the, and Ghanaba was standing, holding the national flag. So they stopped at the corner there and they walked inside there. When they were coming, Ghanaba said, yeah, I got you, eh? Is Rawlings happy with my gun? Then they know that it was Ghanaba. Hey, Dada, what is happening? Go and see Rawlings. He's not happy at all. He said, who is shooting? They should go out and listen. They thought somebody was coming to do a contact coup. You see, so Ghanaba told them, oh, go and tell Jack. He calls Rawlings Jack, my son.
So what was Ghana's intention to go out there?
That's what I'm telling you. He says it is the 10th anniversary of Rawlings' June 4th revolution. So he was giving praise to, you know, that's why he went to the Independence Arch and then he shot 3 times just to hail the coup. But Rawlings was afraid because he has to see where the gun came from. So they rushed back to tell him, Dada, is your father Gawori? He says he's doing the 10th anniversary of the revolution. So, and they say Rawlings laugh, 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 laugh. Could you believe it? When we finished that in the midnight, Ghanaba went and sat at the beach. Daybreak before he came back to the village. When we got to the village, there were people waiting for us from the castle, led by one major. Say, Dada, Rawlings said we should bring you some food for the June 4th. Rawlings said, Nanyama, he got it there. Say, Dada, we are hearing news in the castle that you were shooting. He said, yeah, I want to celebrate my own independence. And he said, Dada, go and look Rawlings there. The man want to cry because he doesn't know where the bullets were coming from. They go and tell him I was celebrating the day. So the goods that they brought got a goat and some fruits. They say Ghanaba should celebrate the day at home. So this is something that I can remember that Ghanaba touched the heart of Rawlings. Then another time too, there was a murder of all rallies done by the Rawlings party at the stadium. The murder at the stadium was very full after that and all that. When we were going to the rally, Ghanaba was having a talking powder. You know, a talking powder. They have some bottle, they have put powder in it. So you can buy and put it on this thing. Ghanaba had one, small one. See all the security standing around there and all that and all that. When Admiral Rawlings took a little seat away from Rawlings to see somebody, Ghanaba came and sat on the stool of Admiral Rawlings. And all the security were, hey, what's going to happen? We are here and nobody could talk because they fear Ghanaba. You know, in the talking by Ghanaba, by Rawlings, Ghanaba went to the back and sprayed the powder on him as sign of victory. You know, and the security were watching him. Nobody could go there. So after the show, Ghanaba was talking with us with UT Mensa and the security and all that. And the security, Dada, when you went there, we were all scared. Oh. He said, why didn't you come there to sack me off? He said, like I will throw punches at you, attract and all that. So this is another security thing too that he broke. And Ghanaba like to do such things.
I think we need to have time and come to know the history of our grandpa, Ghanaba.
Okay. Okay.
It's not ending here.
No. We are already here.
Slowly come back
We are already here.
and
Yeah.
learn more.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No chance. Anytime you are ready, just call me or else I will tell you what you know about the old man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.